everyone, this is Melissa with the Prize Foundation. We're about to get started with our very special guest. But before we begin, I just want to shout out really quickly to our sponsors that help make the Prizecast and Food Prize possible. So, a big thank you to The Cottage, Coca-Cola, Eagle Distributing, Energy Allen, the Remington Hotel and Suites, the Polyat Group at Morgan Stanley, and Elizabeth and Alex Kennedy. Thanks so much, and viva to all of y'all! To have with me Chef Randall Braud from Dallas, Texas. If you haven't had the opportunity to meet Randall yet from last year's Food Prize, you're in for a real treat. Randall's station, if I remember correctly, had people that were like revisiting for those short ribs like 8 times. Like I was like, save some for the rest. Yeah, right, save some for the rest of us. So anyway, Randall, welcome. We're so glad to have you. Yay!
Yeah, be the prize.
Yeah, I love it. First of all, it's great to see you. How are things going for you over in Dallas?
It's great to see you too. Things are kind of quiet here. I've been busy though. Quiet in the sense that the city is quiet. I've been busy with the Heard That Foundation. It's a nonprofit organization. When this all started, we started out just feeding people and the families of service industry people in the area who were lost their jobs or affected by the restaurant closures. It's turned into just feeding everybody. No questions asked. If you're hungry, we'll come feed you. Just come grab a meal. We're set up at a local restaurant, handing packaged meals out of the back dock area. So just been busy with that. So.
Yeah, it looks like between that and like your kitchen, I see. What else do you have hidden back there? I know. Well, listen, before we get started, because I know I'm really excited to see what you got in store for us today, but tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get into cooking? Is this something you've always done, or what kind of started your path?
Well, I grew up as a latchkey kid, me and my brother, growing up in the 80s. And so while my dad was working, I was cooking, hot dogs, fried potato sandwiches, corned beef hash, stuff like that. And my grandfather was a really good home cook, and I remember visiting him during the summers in my teenage years, and he got me on the ball, got the ball rolling for me as far as the interest in cooking on a professional level. So
got it. And you've worked at a variety of restaurants. I know you've done some corporate chef work. Recently, you are the sous at Mo Hai Ba, which is an incredible Vietnamese restaurant in Dallas.
Yeah.
I know I met you through Not Your Lola's. Do you want to tell folks a little bit about that?
Yeah, Not Your Lola's is a Filipino group that me and 3 other guys created last year after a 3-week trip that I took to the Philippines, just to reconnect with my family and my heritage and my culture. Being Filipino but not growing up that way, you just have this void, you just kind of feel like something's missing, and going to the Philippines really filled that void and helped begin the journey of where I wanted to go with my career as a chef. So I always knew that I wanted to open up a Filipino restaurant and have a Filipino concept, and so Not Your Lola's was the beginning of that. I have since branched off. I have a new concept called Tagay, which is Filipino for cheers.
We have a word like that around the prize too. I think it's Viva. So
Yeah,
it's
very
your
familiar
Viva.
with that.
I love it. So what a great segue. I mean, we're talking about Filipino food, and that's what you're going to show us a couple of dishes today, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I have a beef dish called beef Salpicao, and I'm going to be making a side of kangkong, which is Filipino for water spinach. And the side dish is called laing, and it's basically a quick braise of water spinach with some aromatics and coconut milk. And it's basically like a cream spinach.
I'm getting hungry already. Well, do you want to start getting started?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
I guess I should have had my cans warmed up before that. So I've got about 12 ounces of ribeye here that I've cut up. There's a 1-inch thick ribeye. Worcestershire, soy sauce, or tamari. I'm using tamari. It has a little bit more depth and flavor than plain soy. Turbinado sugar, it's sugar in the raw. I have an in-house chili oil that I make. So I have about a tablespoon of chili flake with a tablespoon of chili oil. Black pepper, chives, and fried garlic. So salpicao is, in Spanish, salpicado means splattered. So So we're gonna splatter it with fried garlic and pepper. So it's gonna have that garlic bite, it's gonna have that pepper bite, and it's gonna have a little bite from the chili oil and chili flake as well. So, and I understand if you can't get water spinach in Shreveport, spinach is a good substitute. Bok choy, if you want to use the leaves of bok choy, that's a good substitute. It's very hearty, but just like regular spinach, it cooks down pretty fast.
Great.
So I usually trim the stems off. I keep a little bit of the stem because there is some nutrition and flavor there. But just like you would with asparagus, you want to cut the tips off. But I've got that some broken up here. That's going to get ginger, shrimp paste, which is a fermented shrimp paste. It's got some funk to it. Garlic, coconut milk, and some shallots. So I'm gonna start. My pans are hot. I'm getting a little bit of oil, olive oil here.
So like medium high heat?
I've got it on 7, between 6 and 7 right now. You want a medium high heat for your ribeye, medium heat for your water spinach dish because you don't want to burn your aromatics for that. So for the ribeye, we're gonna start with the oil. I've already seasoned my ribeye meat with just a little bit of salt and pepper.
I can hear the sizzle over here and I'm already like wanting this dish. Right? I mean, come on, when you hear that first sizzle, it's like, oh yeah, it's on.
I'm just glad it sizzled right off the bat rather than waited a second.
Yes.
You know your pan's hot, so.
Exactly.
So we got that going. I'm gonna get some oil going for my water spinach, just a little bit.
All right, so we're gonna tag team these, huh?
Yes, 2 at once.
All right, everybody, hang on tight. Here we go.
Throwing in the shallots, ginger, garlic, and I'm throwing the shrimp paste.
Okay, so shallot, ginger, garlic, shrimp paste. That's for the water spinach, and those are all your aromatics.
Aromatics. You need to stir these just a little bit. You don't want the shrimp paste to burn, but you want your shallots to become translucent. And I've got them sliced thin enough that they'll do that pretty quickly. And I'm gonna turn down the heat to about 4 on the water spinach. I'm actually gonna add the spinach now. A little bit of salt, a little bit of cracked pepper. I'm gonna flip my ribeye over. Got some great Maillard reaction going on here. So you're basically browning the meat. You want to be able to, the Maillard reaction creates a crust. The sear creates a crust, the Maillard reaction. So caramelizing the protein, the sugars, the enzymes on the surface of the meat. You're adding flavor through the process as well. There's plenty of fat marbled through the ribeye that it's just going to be incredible. So my water spinach is getting a good wilt on it right now. And at this point, I'm going to add my 1 cup of coconut milk.
Yum. Like between the ginger, the garlic, the shrimp paste, and coconut, it's got all the flavors. Are these like typical of Filipino food? Like, are these like typical Filipino flavors, ingredients you'll see a lot?
Yes, absolutely. The Philippines has 70% of the world's flora and fauna. So we've got our own mangoes, we've got all varieties of coffee beans, there's several different types of bananas. We grow a specific type of tomato called kamatis, tamarind. Fresh tamarind is amazing. Cashew grows there. So a lot of that, we use in the cooking. Our spinach is basically done. I'm gonna put that on low. Our ribeye is pretty good, so I'm gonna start adding my chili oil. Start with the chili oil and the chili flake, Worcestershire. Soy, sugar, and then black pepper.
So the finished dish, I hear like soy sauce, I hear Worcestershire, definitely some saltiness there, a little bit of sugar, that'll bring out some sweetness. How is that like kind of typical of Filipino food, like the flavor profile? It looks like some heat.
Yes, so for us, the 4 basics are salt, sour, heat, and acid. So sour would be from like tamarind, and then acid would be from vinegar. And that's how they separate, distinguish the two.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I would have like kind of put those together, but like it is a different flavor.
It is a different flavor, yeah. So they have that distinction. Oh wow, that's good.
No fair.
So what isn't normally done in Filipino cooking is the addition of butter. It's a French technique. So we're gonna mound this sauce with just a little bit of butter.
I'm not opposed to a little bit of butter.
Right?
I would guess most people watching right now are like, yeah, okay. Sounds good.
So this is a saucy dish. While I don't use all the sauce at once for this dish, I like to save it for the rice because we like to add anything on rice and that's a meal for us.
Maybe 2 or 3 years ago, some major food critics, Anthony Bourdain, Jonathan Gold, Andrew Zimmerman, all of these major food critics talked about Filipino food being kind of the next big trend in food. And we've seen a lot going on in LA. Dallas, I know you just had the first Filipino food festival just a couple months ago. Is that something you're seeing more and more of?
So we have a handful of restaurants here, but they're all outside of Dallas in the suburbs. And we have about 6 or 7 Filipino pop-up concepts throughout the area. So they were all, most of them, except for one, was involved in the Filipino Food Festival a couple months ago. But yeah, the movement it's coming. You'll see a lot of it. It's already supplanted on the East Coast and the West Coast. You see, there's a few places in Houston now that are going strong. It's time for Dallas and even Shreveport and New Orleans. The younger generations of these migrants that have come to America and they want their take on their food to be presented, and it's one of the best ways to connect people is with your food. Here, let me show you how we eat and what we eat. And okay, so I've got this garnish. We're gonna do. So far, this is what it looks like.
Oh yes.
And I'm gonna a little bit of fried garlic, chips, and some chopped chives. And I have this beautiful pickled papaya salad called achara. And I know you remember seeing this pink stuff.
Oh, I remember it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just describe what that adds to the dish? Like what maybe the flavors that it brings in?
So it's pickled, but it's sort of a sweet pickle. But there's in Filipino cuisine we use datu puti, which is coconut vinegar. It's just vinegar made from coconut water and coconuts, and we green papaya, carrots, shallots, chilies. I put red beets in mine, so it gives us this beautiful, vibrant pink color.
I was wondering how it was so. What's in there?
I gotta show you my.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I think I brought this with me to the dinner in January at Glow.
That's great.
And this is the finished plate. We've got the creaminess and the sweetness of the coconut milk with the funk of the shrimp paste blended with the water spinach. And then you've got the saltiness and the fattiness of the beef. Salt, there's acid, there's sour, with the achara. I can't wait to eat this. And it's just beautiful.
I am so jealous. I can taste the flavors in my head. I'm like, oh, yeah. It just looks incredible. And we are so thrilled to have you here with us today. So for folks that haven't gotten to see you at Prize Fest, for folks that weren't able to make that incredible dinner you did here at Glow with Jessica Comages, I know you mentioned Tagay. Is that still on the table, and what can people expect?
Yes, absolutely on the table. It's going to be a small bar concept, maybe 40-50 seats. I plan on having a back room. We do karaoke once a month because Filipinos and karaoke go hand in hand, the way rice and Asian food go hand in hand. So we'll have that. There's going to be an emphasis on elevated fine dining, but at a price point where it's not bougie. It's not a turnoff. You don't have to check how many dollar signs before you come in. It's affordable, and that's the way Filipino food should be. But I'm presenting it in a way that's never been presented before. My take on it from my influence over the last 20 years, and we're small plates. We'll have shareable plates. A beautiful. We try and have a beautiful wine, Filipino wine cocktail menu as well. But yeah, that's what we're shooting for, and it's still on the table to to be open. So,
Well, we are thrilled and we are wishing you all the best. Thank you again, Randall, for being with us today, for sharing these incredible dishes. I can't wait to make these at home because I've seen how gorgeous they are and I've tasted them in my brain and they are amazing. We wish you continued success. We wish the Heard That Foundation good vibes and your work there. And I look forward to the day we can share a drink and a meal again.
absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you in Shreveport again soon. Until then, take care. And everyone out there, we appreciate you. And I've been asking everyone to Viva with me if you would do me the honor.
Absolutely.
All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Viva the Pride!